And later this morning, we expect to get an update from Texas officials on the catastrophic flash flooding from over the weekend. According to National Weather Service data, extreme rainfall caused the river to swell more than 20 feet in roughly an hour early Friday. So far, officials there say at least 81 people died and more than 40 people are missing. Nadia Cavazos has more from Austin, Texas on the victims and the search and rescue operations.
There was so much screaming.
This morning, harrowing stories are emerging from survivors of the deadly flash flooding in central Texas over the weekend. Kerrville RV park owner Lorena Guillen says she watched helplessly as rushing waters washed through the campground.
There were dozens of vehicles just floating away.
Officials say there have been more than 160 rescues by helicopter, and search and rescue teams and hundreds of volunteers are combing the banks of the Guadalupe River.
It would bring me some closure knowing definitively what happened instead of continuously holding out, wondering if the one I love is still out there.
Texas officials say more than 80 people have died, and among the more than 40 missing are nearly a dozen children and counselor from the all-girls Camp Mystic. Texas Governor Greg Abbott toured the devastated campground.
It was nothing short of horrific to see what those young children went through, and we will remain 100% dedicated, searching for every single one of the children.
As the community holds out hope, questions are growing over the lack of early warnings.
There's going to be a full review, of this so we can make sure that we focus on future preparedness.
Yesterday, President Donald Trump pushed back on claims that cuts to the National Weather Service may have impacted the situation.
They did not.
They did. This is a 100-year catastrophe, and it's just so horrible to watch.
The president has approved a major disaster declaration, and he says he plans to visit Texas this week.
Now, President Trump says that he'll likely visit the state on Friday. Meanwhile, the National Weather Service says that central Texas is still under threat of more flash flooding as slow-moving thunderstorms travel through the area this week. And 10 campers are still missing from Camp Mystic in Texas. We're learning that Georgia Congressman Buddy Carter's granddaughters were at that camp. He says the 11-year-old twins were found safe after the water rose rapidly. It trapped dozens of girls and washed away entire cabins. And while his granddaughters made it to safety, one of their young cousins was killed. The congressman says the wait to hear if his granddaughters were safe was agonizing.
I was actually in a parade in Forsyth in Cumming, Georgia, and I got a call from my son who was very upset and told me what was going on. And of course, immediately I started praying and didn't cease praying until we found out they were okay. There was a period of time when we didn't know what their status was.
Congressman Carter reinforced his support for Texas, saying in part, quote, "We must ensure that they have the resources they need to find those still missing and save lives."